We've tested and worked with a lot of AI tools across real businesses. And one thing became very clear. AI on its own doesn't create leverage the way AI structure inside a business does. This isn't another AI tutorial, and it's not about chasing every new tool that comes out. In this video, we are breaking down the AI setup businesses actually need in 2026, not as a random list of tools, but as parts of a system that helps teams work faster, think clearer, and reduce the manual effort without adding complexity. Most businesses use AI the same way. They hear about a new tool, they tried it once, and it needs to connect to the rest of the way work actually gets done. So instead of jumping between tools, we are going to look at AI by category based on how businesses really operate day to day. We will start with the most important category of all, the everyday AI assistant. Every modern business needs one primary AI assistant. This is the AI we use to reason through problems, clarify decisions, and untackle complexity before anything gets built or automated. This category matters because if thinking is messy, everything downstream breaks. And this is also where most teams get confused because not all AI models are good at the same things. There are three main options here, and each one specializes in something different. ChatGPT is best for general reasoning and problem solving. This is the AI we use when something feels unclear and we need to think it through. We take a real business problem, pace in the current process, explain where things feel slow or confusing, and ask ChatGPT to challenge the setup and suggest better alternatives. We are not asking it to decide for us. We're using it to think more clearly, faster, and with better structure. Gemini is strongest when we're dealing with writing or very long documents. This is the AI we use when we scale matters, when the input is large, and when we need to turn a lot of raw information into something usable. A real example of this is taking a long internal document or SOP and asking Gemini to write it, restructure it, or simplify it without losing meaning. This is where hours of manual work turn into minutes. Claude is best when work is tied to real business context. Emails, documents, internal files, ongoing conversations. This is the AI model we use when we don't just want an answer, but we want understanding. In practice, this means pasting in internal communication or documents and asking Claude to summarize what actually means and what it should happen next. It's especially strong when context matters more than speed. The key takeaway here is simple. We need one primary AI assistant chosen intentionally based on how we actually work. Once thinking becomes clear and consistent, everything else becomes easier. And that leads directly into the next category, where we stop thinking and start building knowledge. Research. Most companies don't struggle because they lack information. They struggle because their information is scattered. Important decisions live in old documents. Context lives in people's heads, and past reasoning gets lost as teams grow. This is where research AI becomes critical. Not research in the sense of Googling things, but the research in the sense of building a company memory that can actually be used. This category exists to answer one question: how do we make sure knowledge doesn't disappear? NotebookLM. It's the tool we use when we want AI to work only with our internal knowledge. We upload SOPs, strategy documents, meeting notes, and anything that explains how the business actually works. Then, instead of searching folders or answering the same questions repeatedly, we ask NotebookLM. It doesn't pull in outside information. It answers based on what we're given. Alright guys, so let's see how NotebookLM works in practice. First of all, go to notebooklm.google and click on Try NotebookLM. Now, if I want to start a research, an investigation, or simply get some more feedback and insights, this is what I am going to do. So, create new, and then what I want to do now is I am going to upload an onboarding SOP of my company as well as some other guidelines so I can get the feedback and insights and blind spots from NotebookLM. Now, as you can see, I can search in a website, I can add links, I can add YouTube videos, I can integrate my Google Drive and gather documents from Google Drive. I can just simply put copy and paste some text here or even write. But for the purpose of this video, what I'm going to do is that I am going to upload 2 files, one client onboarding and one internal guideline. So what I'm going to do now is that I am going to give NotebookLM a prompt explaining why our onboarding process is structured this way and what problem it is trying to solve. First, research completed. So let's view it. 6 reasons for a structured employee onboarding. Qualified professional, you can see how structure integrates hires into company. I am going to import everything and I'm gonna let NotebookLM to create the principles of client alignment and strategic execution. So what I can do now, as you can see here in the studio, there are certain actions that you can do. What I am going to do is that after I get this strategic execution report, I am going to create an audio review. And this is how you can create amazing audios, podcast with your own research. Perfect. I'm going to save it to the note. And then I am gonna keep on typing and I will ask if a new team member joined today, what are the 3 most important things that you need to understand from these documents? And actually, as you can see, is very user-friendly and the language is very direct. NotebookLM is giving me 3 important things that a new employees need to understand from these documents here. Number 1, it's the core approach, the clarity over speed, the timeline for success. Onboarding is a year-long journey. And finally, the gateway to delivery, the client onboarding SOP. And last but not least, I'm going to type a final prompt telling NotebookLM to show me any parts of the documents where decisions were made about how we handle clients. So we have the core approach and philosophy, we have the procedural decisions, we have the decision making and documentation, and external benchmarks. So that's it about NotebookLM. I mean, you can go on and expand your research. Here, as you can see, there are different features, some in beta phase, but there are different features of how you can develop even further a research or investigation in NotebookLM. What I love the most is creating podcasts and audio reviews with this feature here. And as you can see, now it's generating audio overview for the principles of client alignment and strategic execution. This category isn't about speed, it's about continuity. When research and knowledge are handled properly, businesses stop losing context as this game. Thinking stays consistent, decisions stay documented, and the company stops relying on individual memory. Once knowledge has a home, the next challenge is capturing what happens in real time. And that brings us to the next category, meetings and conversations capture. Most businesses don't have too many meetings. They have too many meetings where decisions disappear the moment the call ends. People remember things differently. Action items get lost, and context never fully makes it back into the system. This category exists to solve that problem, not by adding more meetings, but by making sure conversations are captured accurately and automatically. Loom is the tool we use to capture meetings without changing how the team already works. So instead of taking notes or relying on memory, we simply record the meeting. What makes this especially useful is that Loom doesn't just store the recording. As a bonus, it also gives us a clear summary of what was discussed. So instead of rewatching a full call, we immediately see the key points, the decisions that were made, and what needs to happen next. And now let me show you in practice how Loom actually works. So that's my Loom library. Let's say this is where I keep track on all of my videos, and I make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. So let me show you an example. First of all, I have my workspace here. I have my library where I have all of my recordings, my upcoming meetings. As you can see here, I have my upcoming meetings and I have them toggle on or toggle off whether I want Loom to be sent automatically to my video. But let me show you how it looks like in reality. So let me get a random video to show you what it looks like. Of course, here is my recording. As you can see, I have my recording here. It's around 1 hour and 15 minutes, which is good. And Loom gives me the chapters automatically. But the crazy thing about that is that I have my recap here and the action items. I have a summary fully generalized by AI. I have the session overview, the research and trends, the live build and analytics. I mean, that's the overview. I can even edit it, but this is not a tool that I personally use. I mean, with edits, you can cut off the has and the silences and what so on. Then there's the activity. So it actually says what each one has said or not. I have the full transcript. So how I can use this transcript? Basically, I can copy it. I can go into Claude AI. I can paste it and I can say, give me the action items of this meeting and the most important takeaways. And I can see that it gives me also the action items, the key takeaways, content repurposing, trend research at scale, marketing isn't one thing, Claude Code is a game changer, app provide for competitive intelligence, analytics, automation, sales hour, and what so on. I mean, you can use this data however you want. Of course, you can get this video and you can either download it or you can share it with any member, either of your team or externally, that you want to review this recording video. And that's all about Loom. So this category isn't about recording more. It's about preserving context. Once conversations are captured, the next step is making sure work actually moves. And that brings us to the next category, task management system. Most businesses don't fail because people don't work hard. They fail because work isn't visible. Tasks live in messages, deadlines live in someone's head, priorities change, but nothing reflects that change clearly. This category exists to give work a single place to live, not just to store tasks, but to make progress ownership and priorities obvious to everyone involved. ClickUp is the system we use to manage work end to end. This is where tasks are created, assigned, prioritized, and tracked. Everything flows into the same system. This matters because AI only becomes useful when work is structured. So let me show you how ClickUp works in practice. So consider this is your workspace. So ClickUp can help you, run your company in terms of tasks and projects, whereby I have, the different areas of my businesses reflecting folders. In that case, clients, appointments, inventory, products, finance, marketing, finance and accounting, CRM, and some relevant documentation that we use internally to review some clients' work. So in that case, since I want to reach out to a client and I want to remind myself automatically. So what I'm going to do is that I will go into the client's profile. Let's say I want to wish these clients happy birthday, and I want to do that tomorrow, and I want the reminder to remind me automatically. So the assignee needs me, and the due date's tomorrow. What I'm going to do now is that I'm going to create an automation whereby I say, when due date arrives, add a comment and remind the assignee. Please note, Kyriaki, that the due date of the client's birthday has arrived. Wish him happy birthday. Perfect. And I can create my automation. I mean, simple as that. This is just, a minor example of what we can do with tasks and projects. Of course, we can do the whole system automated, and we can make sure that we have streamlined operations for the business, full visibility, and of course for the management to have the performance review on what's going on, and for the employees and for all the team members to know what needs to be delivered today, what's the priority, and why. That's it about ClickUp. And this category is the backbone of everything else. When tasks are clear and centralized, work is not missed. But once work is organized, the next bottleneck appears. And that brings us to the next category, automation. This category exists to remove those manual handles, not by working faster, but by letting the system move on its own. That's what automation is actually for. Make.com is the automation layer we use to connect everything together. It sits quietly in the background and listens for triggers. When something happens in one tool, Make.com knows exactly what to do next. What makes Make.com especially powerful is that it's visual. We can see the entire flow, we can understand the logic, and we can adjust it as the business changes. So let me show you how Make.com works in practice. So we use Make.com like a lot with ClickUp to create ClickUp automations with other tools. Like, for example, when something happens in ClickUp, send an email, or when something changes in ClickUp, create a proposal, or when an email arrives with an invoice, then create it in ClickUp. So because ClickUp is the home of our data, we usually use ClickUp to extract data and automate it. Now, let me show you one example that we have done with Make.com, but of course you can automate pretty much everything. Let's go to the scenarios. One recent example that we have done with Make.com is that when a new client filled out the onboarding form in order to contact my company because they needed some kind of services, assistance, and what so on. What I did is that when ClickUp received this new form, it created a task and changed the status to onboarded. Now, when this task got changed to onboarded, it got triggered so that the AI reads all of the information of the client that the client submitted. For example, my prompt was write a short and warm welcome email, format the message using HTML. The structure will be greeting their first name. This is the task name from ClickUp. A recent compliment about their company. In the form, I am asking for their company, and a compliment about their job as the custom fills the title, because in the form I request from the potential clients to fill in their title, a sentence about AI and what we do, and a warm sign off with my name. As soon as AI gathers all of this data that the client provided through the form, and then we send a personalized email to the client through Gmail. And that's about Make.com. There are many examples that we can show you, and of course you can comment below in the comments what kind of automations you would like to see. Maybe we can show it in the next video. So let's move on to the next category. Automation is not about complexity, it's about consistency. When automation is set up properly, work stops depending on memory and timing. The system becomes reliable. And once the system can move on its own, the next advantage becomes speed. That's where the next category comes in. Web and app creation. Ideas take too long to turn into something real. Internal tools see it as ideas instead of being built. Simple pages or apps get delayed because they require too much coordination, and this category exists to remove that delay, not by cutting corners, but by making creation fast enough to keep up with decisions. Lovable is the tool we use to turn ideas into working websites and apps without heavy development cycles. Instead of writing detailed specs or waiting on developers, we describe what we want to build. Lovable takes that description and turns it into something usable. So let's see how Lovable works in practice. In that case, I am going to ask Lovable to create a landing page for business. So let me add on this prompt, create a landing page for a B2B service that helps companies scale using AI systems. The page should include a hero section, a short problem statement, a benefits section, and a call to action to book a call. The primary color of the landing page must be yellow. Now Lovable is working in the background and building the landing page. I mean, you're gonna be amazed by how easy it is to create a website, a landing page, an app just by prompting. That's our landing page. Scale your business with AI systems, book a call, and just like that, in 1 minute, we just got this amazing high-tech landing page. But I need some more edits, so I am going to ask it to change the headline to focus more on scaling without adding headcount. So let's see what we get here. That's amazing. 10x your output, 0 new hires, custom AI systems that replace manual work across your operations so you scale revenue without scaling headcount. And just like that, with a prompt, you can create your own landing pages or apps in just a few minutes. When creation is fast, businesses can test ideas, support operations, and adapt without friction. And once things can be built quickly, the next challenge becomes knowing what's actually worth building. That's where the next category comes in: content research. Most businesses don't struggle to create content. They struggle to know what content is actually worth creating. Ideas feel good internally, but don't perform. Time gets spent producing things no one is looking for, and results feel random instead of predictable. This category exists to remove guesswork. vidIQ is the tool we use to understand what people are already searching for and engaging with. Instead of relying on intuition, vidIQ gives us visibility into demand, competition, and performance. This shifts content from being creative only to being strategic. So let me show you how vidIQ works in practice. Of course, I am not going to go through all the features of vidIQ, but I am going to show you some of its possibilities. So as you can see here, I have it connected with my YouTube channel, and this is where I get, title suggestions. I get the score of the titles. Of course, I can create my long-form videos into short-form videos, but what's really working with me is that this is where I search for my keywords, and this is where I understand if it makes sense to show something in terms of creating a video to speak about, vidIQ or Lovable or ClickUp, or whether this is not gonna have a huge impact. Because what I try to do most of the times, if not all the times, is to create content that I will be able to outreach and help and give as much input and value to as many people as possible. So let's say I want to speak about, for example, my latest workflow, which is an AI agent in Claude that generates leads. So let's see if this is something that will help many people, or if this is something that many people are looking for a solution, and of course if this is something that is going to help businesses. So first of all, I am gonna put say lead generation, which is the purpose of the AI agent. My rule is above 67, 68 is considered a very good number to start researching and investigating a topic to create content for. So right now, as you can see, for the lead generation, the search volume is high. That means that a lot of people are searching for this keyword. However, the competition is low. That means that there are a lot of people asking for lead generation, maybe systems, tricks, how-to tutorials, but there are not many people that provide these tutorials. So that tells me that if I create a video, if I give value by showing my agent that generates leads, that means that I have pretty good chances that my video will be viewed and watched and engaged by many people. I mean, you can go on and do the research for any topics, any titles that you would like, but that's a very good tool, especially if you're creating content. And then at the bottom of this page, you can see the most relevant videos talking about the specific topic that you have just typed in. So that's about vidIQ. Of course, we can expand it more and show you its capabilities. Just comment in the comment section below. When content is guided by real data, effort stops being wasted. And once the message is clear, the next challenge is presentation. That's where the next category comes in: image and video generation. Most businesses don't struggle with what to say. They struggle with how to show it. Social posts look inconsistent, visuals don't match the brand, and content that took time to think through gets reduced to something generic. This category exists to fix that, not by making things flashy, but by making visuals intentional and aligned. Higgsfield is the tool we use to generate visual assets for things like Instagram posts, brand visuals, and social content. So instead of relying on stock images or rush designs, we create images that match the exact data we want to communicate. So let's see how Higgsfield works in practice. I know most of you are really interested in the content and image generation. So let's see how this amazing tool works. Now we're in the Higgs field. What I am going to do, I'm going to show you how easy it is to create images, but of course you can create videos, ads, you can create your own avatars, you can do a lot of things. So what I'm going to do, simple as that, I'm going to go to the image and I'm going to create an image. I am going to give it a simple prompt of a businesswoman sitting in her office and smiling and asking to automate day-to-day work. I'm clicking on generate and now waiting for the image to be generated. So we can give it a couple of minutes. It usually takes more if the subscription is a paid, but if you have a paid version, you will be able to achieve your photos in much less time. So let's give it 1-2 minutes and then I can show you the results. That's amazing. So this is what you can do with one single prompt with a bit of imagination and creativity. This category isn't about replacing designers. It's about removing friction in day-to-day content creation. And once content is out in the world and getting attention, the next challenge becomes turning that attention into real conversations. That's where the next category comes in, proposals. The work is done. The value is clear. But everything slows down when it's time to put it on a paper. Documents take too long to prepare, details get missed, and follow-ups depend on someone remembering to send them. This category exists to keep deals moving forward without friction. Not by selling harder, but by making the agreement easier. PandaDoc is the tool we use to create, send, and track proposals in a structured way. What makes this powerful is visibility. We don't just send a proposal and hope for the best. We know when it's open, when it's been viewed, and where things slow down. And let's see how PandaDoc works in practice and how much time you guys can save from sending proposals, drafting emails, and doing all this hard work that takes you a lot of time. That's the main board of PandaDoc. What you can do, you can come here where there is a huge board of templates that you can choose from. You can also choose templates based on the industry. You can create from scratch. Let's say I want to send a proposal to a client of mine who is in the construction business and they want the full project management system in ClickUp. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna come in the construction area, let's say, and of course I'm gonna choose any template that I like. Now I can first preview it and see what this template looks like. Then I can select this template and then I can start drafting this template. So here you can predefine your signatures, your initials, any dates, and of course file uploads and what so on. So I can say these are like metadata fields that once you save them, then you can keep them in every template. So here's our template for a construction company. What I can do here, I can edit it here, business plan for SRE.ai, prepare for, I can put the client's name who will also be signing, and then I can edit all the parts here. There are many different features here, like you can download it, you can insert, photos, headers, logos, or anything else you prefer, or even attachments. And then last but not least, you can view it in different formats, so you're sure before you send out the proposal. So just like that, you have a proposal generator, and you have standardized formats that you can create and send out to your clients. So that's it about PandaDoc. So this category, it's not about documents, but it's about momentum. When proposals are clear and easy to move through, deals don't stop. And once agreements are in place, the final challenge is keeping conversations going at scale. That's where the next category comes in: sales engagement. Most businesses don't lose deals because people say no. They lose deals because conversations fade. Follow-ups happen too late, messages feel generic, and sales efforts don't scale without adding more people. This category exists to keep conversations moving consistently without relying on memory or manual effort. Instantly is the tool we use to manage sales engagement at scale. What matters here isn't sending more messages or emails. It's sending the right emails at the right time to the right audience without losing the human element. Last but not least, Instantly.ai, one of my favorites, because it allows me to outreach to a mass that I have never got to know in person. So I'm not going to walk you through all the features that Instantly.ai makes, but what it really does is, first, it allows you to extract leads from its built-in lead scraper. That's one. Or you can either import leads if you're using, for example, Amplify, Apollon AI, or any other lead scraping tools. And then you can create your own campaigns by configuring your own tools, and then you can start reaching out to the masses. First of all, let me show you how it works. As you can see here, I have my different configured accounts. These are the accounts that I am doing my campaigns. For example, you can see out the health score. You can see here how many emails they have sent out, and of course how many warm-up emails they have sent. It's very, very important before we start reaching out through the campaigns to warm up the emails. So now let me show you how easy it is to search for leads. I am in the super search feature of Instantly, where I can search leads based on the job titles. For example, I want CEOs and I want them to live in so let's put Cyprus, which is my country. Then I want industry. In the industries, I want to do marketing and advertising. And then I want to target small to medium sizes of marketing agencies in Cyprus. So I'm gonna do 1 up to 50 employees. And then I can go on and I can choose, predefine the technologies that I want them to use. So just like this, you have seen that I have scraped 62 CEOs contacts of marketing agencies, small to medium size, that they live in Cyprus. So now what I'm going to do is that I am going to save this list and then start creating my campaigns. So just for the purpose of this video, I want to show you some pre-existing leads that I have, and from this I can create campaigns. And from there on, I create my own campaigns. As you can see here, I have one campaign right now running. The progress is 10%. I have sent out 230 emails. I have 53% open rate. Click rate is 3%. That means how many people are clicking on the link I provided in my email, and what so on. Let me show you how the campaigns look. So my campaigns, just look like this. Let me preview them. I'm gonna select a random lead so you can see how it looks like, and then I have a CTA that drives them directly into my calendar lead so they can choose when they want to book a call with me. So this is how the campaign looks like. Of course, on every campaign I have 4 sequences, meaning that if a lead does not reply in the first email, then after 2 days I send them 1 more email, after 3 days another email, after 4 days another email, and goes on and on. In total, I have 4 sequences. This category is not about being aggressive, it's about being consistent. When sales engagement is structured, opportunities don't disappear silently. Instead, you create them. And once all of these categories work together, it's time to zoom out and look at the full picture. So, what makes these tools useful isn't how advanced they are. It's the fact that each one solves a specific problem at a specific moment in the workflow. When AI is used randomly, it adds complexity. When each tool has a clear role, AI reduces work instead of creating more of it. That's the shift businesses need to make in 2026. If one of these tools stood out and you want to see exactly how we use it inside the real workflow, comment its name below and we will take that tool and break it down properly, step by step, in a dedicated video.